Oh, you just said.
Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you, Ravi, but I cannot hear Bobby.
Oh,
Okay.
you still can hear me?
I can't hear Bobby.
Yeah, something wrong there.
One, two, three. Do you hear me now?
Yeah, you're like very feeble, but we can hear you.
You cannot hear. You said you can hear me now.
We
Or?
can, yeah, we can hear you, but your voice is very feeble. We can hardly, like, in a low voice.
I see. I don't know what is going on. I installed a new update, and I mean, my laptop kind of forced me to install a new update, and that was the reason that I was so late. It just keep going and going. I couldn't even connect with my phone, and now we have a weird problem.
This is manageable, I believe.
Okay. All right. I hope it's not too bad. Maximize. This is help much, but anyhow. So, Ray, do you hear me as well, or?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. So let's just start the meeting. So as you know, this meeting is recorded and will be uploaded to public internet. Since we are late already very much, let's jump on the updates. As some of you know, some of our features are postponed in this release because of the fact that 1.13 is going to be a stability release. One of the more recent ones that we decided to postpone is what Ravi was working on. Ravi, you were aware that this pod limit priority function is postponed to 1.14, right?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'll create a PR for reverting. It's just that I'm like done with writing a test, an integration test, just today morning, but I'm not able to test it. I'm facing some issue where I'm running the integration test.
I see. Okay, but anyway, so we're not in a hurry anymore, I guess, given that it's postponed to the next release. So you don't need to rush it. But what I would like to suggest, both for this feature and the other features that we're working on, especially those that we are moving to beta and become enabled by default, is to let's try to enable them very early in the cycle. So even maybe before the cycle starts, sort of like right after the code freeze is lifted, let's just start working on these and enable these features. Part of the reason is that sometimes these features cause conflicts with other features, or by themselves, cause some test failures which are discovered later, and then the test failures are associated back to these features with some delay. As a result, you may be notified that your feature is not working as intended a long time after it's enabled. So it's important for us to have enough time to fix such problems. And we don't want this to happen again. And in fact, I mean, this particular release is probably okay. We didn't want to push a lot of new features because of the stability theme of the release. But in other cases, we may not really like the fact that some of our features are postponed.
Yeah, I mean, this one, it's not a critical one. And I think I have enabled it like 15 days ago or 20 days ago, but I did not get enough time to look at the tests, why they were failing, and then come to a conclusion that I need to change it to an integration test. So yeah, but starting next cycle, I'll make sure that starting next release, I'll make sure that I'll submit the changes earlier.
Yeah, so I mean, you enabled it, this feature early as well, but the fact that the test was failing kind of like later and kind of close to the code freeze caused some of these problems. But it's fine. We can actually start working on this very early on so that we can have the test and the feature both enabled right after the code freeze is lifted.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. So I guess some of the other items which are left. So Wei, how is the taint-based eviction doing? I saw that was.
So basically the whole story is that we need to kind of intended block the network connection from the worker nodes to master node, and the E2E test runs well in our regular E2E testing in test grid, but it failed on the master upgrade E2E test suite. So, and I narrowed down the issue is that it's a known issue that in GCE upgrade scenario, the master, the IP of the master, which is using in communication between the workers and the master nodes, got changed from public IP to internal IP. So in that way, the logic that I made the connection loss doesn't work anymore. So Justin Santa Barbara so raised a PR fixing that issue by blocking the traffic to both public IP and the internal IP. So the latest test has been passed. So I think it's good. So we have all things covered.
Yeah. So I think it's fine to disable the test and upgrade test for now, but we should actually try to enable it. One of the even in upgrade tests, maybe change the tests in ways that you think is appropriate, and maybe enable it even in the upgrade test. Part of the reason is that I'm a little bit worried that when an older version of the cluster is upgraded, which is not expecting taint-based eviction to work, it could possibly cause problems. So it'll be great if we can have it in upgrade test. I'm not saying that we should do it right away today or tomorrow, but please think about it, and if possible, try to enable it back in the upgrade test as well.
Okay.
I think to be clear, what Wei was telling is it is enabled now. Just that Justin has created a PR so that the upgrade tests would pass as well, if I'm right.
No, I guess
Yes.
it's bypassed in upgrade.
No. It's not. It's not by bypassing the test. It's just fixing the bottom.
That's right.
Oh, okay. In that case, then you're set. Okay.
Yeah. And also, it will make other network partition or some other SIG apps test pass as well. So right now, in those tests, I check the code, they bypass the GCE environment. So I think they can uncomment that line.
Okay, so just never mind what I said. If it is enabled in upgrade test, it's fine.
Yeah, but Bobby, whatever the point that you made is valid too, because we face the same issue. I think for older release, not from 1.11 to 1.12, but 1.10 to 1.11. I think it was for scheduled daemon set pods like 2 weeks ago or some time ago, where we saw an issue which fails during the upgrade path.
Yeah. Upgrades are notoriously hard, and we have to be more careful about those.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. I have one more update for you guys regarding a feature that we were seeking in this release. The scheduler actually moves all the unschedulable pods every time that it receives an update for a node. This makes sense, but the problem is that node updates are very frequent. Basically, the scheduler receives an update for a node every 10 seconds. This is what Kubelet sends out. And as a result, we keep rescheduling a lot of pods, which determined to be unschedulable earlier. Right? So in a large cluster, you can imagine that the scheduler receives hundreds of these node updates every second. So it keeps retrying all these unschedulable pods. I had an idea that we should look at the status of the nodes and see if there is anything changed in the node update that makes the node schedulable or more schedulable, or changes the schedulability of a node. For example, the amount of resources on a node has changed, or labels on a node has changed, things on a node has changed, and stuff like that. So we implemented this, actually. One of our contributors helped us implement this. It turned out that it increases the scheduler CPU usage a lot in larger clusters in some of our scalability tests. I had to send a PR to revert that back, but the idea is still valid, and we would like to continue working on that idea. I will try to reach out to the node team to see if the node itself can report such things to us. So basically, if the node itself, one of the ideas is that the node itself tells us whether it has changed anything that could potentially make the node more schedulable. For example, node resources, paints, labels, everything that we just said. Any of those change, maybe the node can set a flag in its status so that the scheduler knows that it can retry on schedulable pods. We will see if that works. But anyway, for now, we had to pull that out of the release. That's another update that I've had for you. I still want to push these extension points for the scheduling framework out, hopefully in this release, if I can. I guess it's pretty much done, really, the code itself, but we would like to add tests for it. I'm gonna try to do that today or tomorrow. Hopefully, we can get those out. Let's see. Other than that, I don't have other updates for you, really.
Bobby, one question
Please go ahead.
on the feature to just limit the condition that we move the paths back to the activity queue. So right now, I checked a little bit on the code. Is that we do a reflect deep equal on the nodes? Is that current logic?
So sorry, say that again. You said we do what?
To use the deep,
Yeah,
reflect deep equal, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm wondering. I don't know quite much about signals. So I know they kind of report back the heartbeat information every 3 or 5 seconds. But in that case, if the two nodes of API objects is the same, the resource version doesn't change, right?
That's a good point. I don't know actually if the resource version changes on small things. Like I don't know, maybe the resource version changes. That's a very good point actually. I don't know if the resource version changes on node resource updates or label updates. Probably it does. I cannot say if definitely it does or doesn't. But if actually your point is really great, if it doesn't change, if it does change on those on label updates or taint updates and stuff like that, and doesn't change on regular heartbeats, then we can definitely use that. That's a very good point.
Yeah, we can take a look.
Always changes if any field changes.
Was this Madhukar or Maya? So you said what? Can you repeat, please? Your voice was very faint.
Oh, I was saying that the resource version always changes if any field of the object changes. But
yeah. So
can confirm the API machinery, guys.
okay, so
yeah, but most of the time it's just heartbeat information floating back. So in that case, I suppose I'm not quite sure if the resource version got changed or not.
I think my understanding is that it changes, but yeah, we can definitely ask API machinery for that.
yeah, because I don't know exactly how it works. You're probably right. But by it changes all the times. You mean that it even at the regular status updates?
Right. I think I last talked to Jordan Legit. Jordan, I forget his last name, but and I think he showed me code in API machinery, which basically does a diff, and if anything changes, resource version is incremented. But yeah, we can consult them again.
Okay.
Oh, I see. Because in the node status fields, there is a last thing timestamp. I think that field got changed so that it has a new resource version, I suppose.
Yeah, in that case, then the resource version is not going to be very useful because all
Yeah, agree.
going to have a new version.
Okay, never mind. Yeah.
It's still worth taking a look, but yeah, it's unlikely to be useful. Anyway, we can still pursue the other idea of talking with the node team to see if those guys can report it back, because if a node reports it back, things will become a lot easier. And given that it's very distributed, I mean, all nodes can report it themselves instead of us in a central place like the scheduler comparing all the properties of nodes with the previous version that we had. So it's hopefully the other one works better. Yeah, I mean, the distributed version where the node reports it is better. Okay, that's all for me. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, but if you have any quick questions, comments, please go ahead and share with us. No question, no comments. Okay, well, let's finish this meeting today. And I'm sorry again for starting the meeting late. See you folks, I guess, in 2 weeks. Next week.
Thank you.
Canceled.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Bye.